Good afternoon, everyone. This is Speak Life to Youth and Children, SLYC, S-L-Y-C International, and I am the CEO and founder of the organization. This is a 501c3 nonprofit youth organization that helps kids from ages 6 to 22 basically get a better start in life. To learn more about us, you can go to our website, www.slycinternational.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and now TikTok, which is something new. Today, our speaker is, I met her and her husband, a year and a half, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They own a nice, and she's going to talk more about it, but they're on a farm not too far from where I stay. It used to be an old 4-H grounds in Billerica. Nice pond, gazebo, the whole works. So she will tell you more about that. But her name is Mrs. Cheyenne Muhammad. She's an author, speaker, financial consultant, entrepreneur, wife, mother. She's a school teacher. Yeah, so she's going to teach our youth, teach you how to start a business right now. And Mrs. Cheyenne.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak life to youth and children. That is a powerful mission. And when I first heard that, when we met you, I just thought, man, like what child doesn't need an organization like this that's committed to speaking life to them. So I just honor you and respect you for the work that you do through SLYC. So and not only do I get to be a speaker here, but my 13-year-old son is also a member of SLYC as well. So awesome. We really appreciate what you're doing. Our children need us. So I am Cheyenne Muhammad, and I think it's very important. I was listening to Claude Anderson just recently saying that if only we could teach our youth how to sell when they are youth, they will never be broke. They will never not have money. They will never not have some type of means to provide for themselves if only they learn how to sell. And when you own a business, you must learn how to sell whatever it is, whether that is you walk dogs, or whether that is a t-shirt business, lip gloss business. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is. In order to grow a business, you must learn how to sell. Something else that I heard Claude Anderson say recently was that if you think about minority communities, all around the minority communities are other nationalities with their businesses in the minority community, rather than minority businesses being patronized in minority communities. And when that is the case, you are sending money out into all the other environments rather than back into your own community. And if we are all raising up youth to learn how to run businesses, the goal would be eventually that in the communities that are primarily lived in by minorities, eventually businesses in those communities will be minority owned, and we will circulate dollars within those communities rather than sending them out. And that is what leads to wealth, and that is what starts to change family trees over time. And so that is why I think it's so valuable and important that we teach our children how to start businesses. Now, you might be thinking that, starting a business is like you're going to open a Walmart, or you're going to open a Target, or you're going to start something major. But if you sell ice cups, if you sell lemonade, that is a business. If you make lip gloss, that is a business. You have a legitimate business. I will tell you that the first business I ever had was 14. I was 14 years old. Where I'm from in New Jersey, a lot of the boys and girls, grew their hair long, but it was mainly boys. I braided boys' hair on my aunt's porch all day long. I would braid hair on the porch. All the boys had these big bushy afros and they needed somebody to braid it. Girls can braid their own hair or their moms would braid their hair, but the boys needed somebody to braid their hair. So I would sit on my aunt's porch and braid hair, and I started making money. And I will tell you that the skills that I learned while braiding hair, because then there became competition, right? All the same things. Walmart is Target's competition, right? Any type of business that you have, more than likely, you're not going to be the only one. There's going to be some type of competition. So I had to make sure that my braids were tight and that I was on time. If someone said they were coming to get their hair braided at 4 o'clock, that I was out there at 3:45 waiting, right? And so all of that stuff we're going to talk about today. And and so the name of the class is How to Start 8 Steps to Start a Business right now. We're going to talk about all of these things. Before we get into that, though, I want to share for inspiration real quickly some young people who have started businesses. I think the youngest was 4 years old. So I'm going to share my screen once again, and I'm going to take you to a website found. This website is called Natural Hair Kids. And I just want to share with you about a few people who have started businesses very young. I was really, really inspired by some of these children. So this is Gabby. And when you think about starting businesses, right? Most businesses are started to answer a need. There's a problem. How do we solve this problem? If you don't, there's not an answer already on the market. Well, what Gabby and her family found is that little girls were always losing their barrettes. They were always losing their barrettes. So they created this type of barrette that somehow doesn't get lost. And they made a market out of it. So that's Gabby's story. And she started this business at 7 years old. You may have heard of Michaela Omer. Michaela, at 4 years old, she was stung by a bumblebee, and she became very fascinated with bumblebees at 4 years old, y'all. 4 years old. Now, I want to tell you, to the parents who are on here, you are vitally important to this process. Michaela didn't start a business by herself at 4 years old. She had the support of her parents, right? So, from that, getting stung by that bee, she took the tragedy happened to her, something painful, and she turned it into something absolutely powerful. She started to learn about the bumblebee. Now, a lot of people, when something like this happens, they become afraid. They become, drastically afraid of a bumblebee. Or I've heard people, who had a snake thrown on them, and they don't want anything to do with snakes for the rest of their lives. Not Michaela, though. This bumblebee that stung her, she became fascinated. She began to really study the bees. She learned that bees were really endangered. She learned all the reasons why we needed bees, and she created a lemonade business using organic honey from bees. She actually took her business on Shark Tank. They gave her some money and invested in her. This is Ethan and Collier. Ethan and Collier have a very caramel popcorn. Guess what? Ethan and Collier are probably have an allergy to gluten. So again, they took a problem, right? What child doesn't love popcorn? My son loves popcorn. Well, normally popcorn has gluten in it. So Ethan and Collier couldn't have popcorn. Their mom taught them how to make gluten-free popcorn, and now they can actually enjoy popcorn. And imagine there's children all over the country who can't have gluten. And so now they can still have popcorn. So awesome, awesome, awesome. This is Asia Newsom. Asia is also known as Super Business Girl. Asia is out of Detroit, Michigan. She had made candles. Asia made candles, right? Who does? And there's actually a business here. You probably know about this. There's she may be 17 now, but there's a little girl who owns a candle business here in the town that I live in called Villa Rica. Very popular candle shop, right off the highway. I get ads. Yeah, I get her ads all the time on my Facebook feed. So not only does she make candles organically, but then she also goes a step further. She knows social media marketing. Her ads are all over social media. This is Mr. Corey. He sells Mr. Corey's cookies. He was 9 years old when he started his business. This is Chantel Sombrey. She owns a business called the Honey Bunch Kids. She's a writer and illustrator. This is Maya Penn. I think it was ribbon headbands. She was making ribbons and headbands for her friends and family, and then took that off into a business. This is Mosiah Bridges. A lot of people know about Mosiah Bridges. He's got Mosiah actually couldn't find bow ties that he wanted, so he started to make his own out of material that his grandmother had in her basement. And his bow ties became very popular as people started asking to purchase them. And now Mosiah is, my husband just went to an event here in Atlanta that had 14,000 people. It's called the Invest Fest. People came from all over the country to attend Invest Fest. Tyler Perry was there. And Steve Harvey was there, and Mosiah Bridges was there too. So very popular. He actually wrote a book. He actually wrote a book for other youth to learn how to start a business. And so if you're really interested in starting a business, you can grab Mosiah Bridges, his book. I believe it's called Mo's Bows. And he started that business at 9 years old. This is Letitia Makungu. And she started a nonprofit organization at just 14 years old. It's called the Women's Rabbit Association. And she started this from a love of education and agriculture. And the organization farms rabbits for profit. This is Essence Moore. Essence Moore had a love of playing dress up. She likes clothing. She started a business called Essence Couture. So these are all stories of youth who started businesses when they were children. So we have this thing where we ask children all the time, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I've always wondered, like, why do we ask them what do they want to be when they grow up? How about what do you want to be right now? Because certainly you can start to do whatever it is that you want to do right now. You don't have to wait until you grow up. Right. And there's many children that are doing that. These are just a few brief examples, but there's children starting businesses all over the country. So these are the 8 steps to start a business right now. Number 1, you got to become an entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about what that is. Number 2, you got to find an idea. Maybe some of you that are here, you already came with an idea. Maybe you're already doing something, or maybe you're doing something on a small scale and you don't really see it as a business just yet, but we're going to talk about some different ideas. Then you have to come up with your price. What are you going to charge? How do you do that? There's a way to do that strategically. And then you've got to build your business. And then you've got to learn how to win with customers. This is very, very important. You don't want to wait until you're older to learn that, like some of us are doing now.
Right, right.
You gotta get organized when you start a business. My husband always reminds me. So you notice that getting organized is step number 6. You would think that a lot of people think that you got to get organized on the front end. You got to start that, you got to start off organized. My husband always reminds me that the first law is motion. Then the second law is order. So you got to get moving first, and then you get organized. And then the next is making the most out of your money. A lot of businesses don't do well on a long-term basis because they don't know how to handle the money. They don't know what to do with the money. So we're going to talk about that too. And then once you have all of that in place, we're going to talk about taking the next step. So we talked about the children entrepreneurs already. So let's talk about what is an entrepreneur. Now, listen, I don't like being here just looking at the screen, looking at myself, looking at LT. I like engaging. So if you're on here with your children and they have questions, please feel free to them ask their questions. There's a lot up here because, like I said, I've been having businesses since I was 14 years old. There's a lot up here. Sometimes it requires people to pull it out, right? And so according to Webster, an entrepreneur is one who organizes, owns, manages, and assumes the risk of a business. Why? What are some reasons why someone would want to be an entrepreneur? What are some reasons why someone would want to be an entrepreneur? And I can't see the chat box when I've got this wide open. So
I'll monitor the chat, but I can say to be your own boss, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Your own money, to the freedom to do other thing.
The freedom to do other things. That is a huge, huge thing. I was reading a story about a guy who all of his friends, he was a junior in high school. All of his friends had jobs. You know, their parents required they get jobs. And they were always complaining about their bosses or their hours. They couldn't, you know, go out when their friends went out. You know, some of them, you know, schools had dances and things like that, but they had to work. So this gentleman decided that he didn't want to do that. He wanted to start his own business so he could have control of his time. He wanted to still make money, but he wanted control of his time. He didn't want to be complaining about, you know, bosses not treating you right. And he didn't want to be, you know, having someone else control his time. So he started a dog walking business. All he did was put some signs up in his yard. He lived in a regular neighborhood, put some signs up in his yard. He made some flyers. He put them in the mailboxes, and people eventually started to call him to walk their dogs. So now he's making the exact same amount of money that his friends who actually had a job were making. So that is a big deal, being able to control your own time.
And someone just said travel.
Listen, so right now, my family, as soon as I get off this call, we are heading to Savannah. We're heading to Savannah to go on a little family vacay. Well, most people can only do stuff like that on the weekend, but because we homeschool and we're full-time entrepreneurs, we take our trips Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. If you're here in Georgia, you know about the Great Wolf Lodge, right? You probably know about the Great Wolf Lodge. Great Wolf Lodge, the cost of it on the weekend is double what it is during the weekday. So because we mind our dollars and cents here, we like to travel when nobody else is traveling because we get to save money. There's not as many crowds. So absolutely, travel is a big deal. Having the freedom to go where you want to go, when you want to get there is a big reason to be an entrepreneur. I'll tell you something else. Many years ago, I was married, and unfortunately, he passed away. It was 10 years ago. I was married and he passed away. And at the time, I was working a full-time job I'm a registered nurse by trade. That's what I went to school for. And when this happened, I went to the human resources to say, how much time do I get to take off as a result of my husband having passed away? What's my bereavement time is what it's called. And they told me I had 3 days. I had 3 days to grieve and settle up whatever things I needed to settle. That was a life-changing situation for me because it helped me to understand that I can't even decide as an employee, I can't even decide for myself how much time I need to grieve when my husband had passed away. Another thing happened. My sister was sick. She had a baby and she developed some heart condition. She was in the ICU. And they told her that she might not make it. A lot of women die of this disorder. And so I wanted to go home. At the time I lived in Arizona. My family was here in Georgia. I wanted to go home and be with my sister. And again, I went to human resources to say, how much time do I get to take off? My sister's ill. I need to go be there. And I could not take time off to go be with my sister. So those are two situations that me personally to understand that I didn't want to be in a situation where someone controlled my time, right? And they controlled whether or not I could go spend time with family. And so those are some of the reasons why I choose to work for myself and why that's the best fit for me and my family. Another thing is saving for big purchases. There's plenty of people who have a job and a business. So I'm not saying anything about, there's nothing negative with having a job. We all need to provide an income for ourselves. But so there's plenty of people who have a job and a business, and it's good to have a job and a business because if things go bad on your job, you get let go, you get sick, something happens where you can't go and punch that clock anymore. If you have a business too, you have another way to make money. You're not dependent on the job. So what might be some reasons why, after hearing all of that, what might be some reasons why you might want to start a business? And I'll be looking for those in the chat box.
I won't answer that when someone else jumps on and make a comment. We have about 6 people.
Okay. All right. So I'll keep looking for those. So now, if you are going to start a business, and this is not just for starting a business, you've got to set smart goals in life. It doesn't matter how old you are right now. Everybody should have goals. Everybody should have something that they're working towards. And parents, if you're teaching your children now how to set goals, it becomes a habit. It becomes a lifelong habit. I will tell you this right here. This is my goal holder. This little device right here, this is my life goal holder. There's a little section on here called the note section. And that is where I write my goals, things that I want to do. And you would be surprised that just writing things down, the statistics say they're more likely to happen just because you wrote them down. There are goals that I have put inside this phone and then didn't do any type of work, didn't think about, I didn't make a plan or anything. I just wrote it down. And then a couple of years later, that thing came to fruition in my life. That is the power of just writing down your goals. So it's important to write down your goals. Now, when you write down your goals, you want to be specific. So the thing that I wrote down in my phone several years ago, I think it was 2015 or 2016, was that I wanted to own a multifamily property within 2 years in Arizona. So that is very specific. I'm saying exactly what it is that I wanted, a multifamily property, and I wrote exactly when. I wanted to do it within 2 years, right? And by 2017, I owned a multifamily property down in Tucson. And so you have to write down your goals and you want to be specific with your goals. Now I see things popping up in the chat box, but I can't see what they are. I just see numbers.
Okay. Someone responded, time freedom with my family, can build my own economy. Kayaneh said a bike. And that's it so far. Okay, awesome. Somebody said to build their own economy. Who said that? Who said that? Yes, you can absolutely create your own economy when that's Lulik. Luliki or Lulik. Okay, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So thank y'all so much for that. So your goals have to be measurable. You have to give them a deadline. This is putting a little bit of pressure on yourself. I want to accomplish this by then. Your goals are personal. When you make them personal, I will do this by such and such date, then you really own them. So Kayaneh has a goal right now to purchase his own bike. So Kayaneh, I would encourage you to put a date on that. You want to get a bike by when? Okay, because once you decide on the date, so say you want a bike by Christmas, right? Now you have September, October, November, December. You got 4 months to get that done. So now you can start thinking about how much money is that bike going to cost? That bike is probably about $300. So I know that between now and December, I need to have $300. And now you can break that down into smaller pieces to say, this is how much I need each month to put away in order to get that bike. And then you can go a step further and say, this is the work that I'm going to do to earn this money to purchase this $300 bike. So once you have all of that stuff written down, you can break your big goal of buying a bike down into small, manageable pieces. So here's an example. Save at least $6,000 to buy a car by my 16th birthday. So how much? I said, how much? How much is $6,000? How long do I have? 24 months. And to meet my goal, I need to save $250 per month. So when you've got those goals written down and they're specific and they're measurable, now you can break them down into more manageable pieces. All right. Now, so what are your goals? So I know Kayaneh said his was to buy a bike. Any other youth on the line, please, in the chat box, go ahead and write down what your goal is, or even in your notebook, go ahead and write down what your goal is. Exactly how much money you need to save in order to accomplish that goal, whether it's to buy a car or a bike, maybe you want some Pokemon cards, whatever that looks like for you. And then how much time
do you need to save in order to accomplish that goal? And then break that down by the month. All right. And so now the next thing is to start talking about what your business idea is. Now you've got a goal. You know what it is that you want to do. And let me take it a step backwards. Now, there's a lot of very unselfish youth out there that are not so much interested in something for themselves. Maybe you're looking to help your parents. There's a lot of children who start businesses to help their parents out. They don't want their mother to struggle. They want to buy their mom a house. They want to buy dad a new car. They want to do something. They want to donate. Maybe they want to start dig a well in Africa so that people can have water who don't normally. So your goals don't have to be small material things that are for yourself. You should absolutely be thinking about other people too. What could you do to serve humanity, right? So yeah, not just material things. So now that we've got that out of the way, what are some things that you're good at? What are some things that you're good at? You guys in the chat box, put some things that you are naturally good at. Do you love science? Do you have an affinity for makeup? Do you like, what is it that you really enjoy? What do you like? Do you like animals? Think about the things that you like. Do you like cooking? Do you like being in the kitchen when your mom's cooking or your dad's cooking? Are you good with children? Do you like babies? Do babies always come to you? What are the things that you really like? What comes natural to you? What is that thing that people say about you all the time? What is that thing?
Go ahead, Keitha.
Not right now. I'm still thinking.
Okay.
All right. And so, so just think about the things that come natural to you, because when you make a business of something that you naturally enjoy, that you're naturally good at, you are actually probably operating in your purpose. Now, you can start a business just because this thing will make money or it answers a problem, but then there are people who are really operating in their purpose because they're doing something that comes natural to them, something that they're automatically good at. So I want you to think about what that might be for you. And that is where, ideas come from for businesses. So here are some ideas in case you can't think of anything. There's always children that, are willing to cut grass. So lawn mowing business, gardening, babysitting, house cleaning, window washing, house washing, selling baked goods, selling art, photography. Maybe you're good with social media. Maybe you are all over TikTok, everything. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people around my age, this TikTok and all these new social media platforms are a little bit more difficult for us to manage because we've got to learn this stuff.
Yes.
We got to learn stuff because we didn't grow up with one of these in our hands. We didn't grow up with this in our hands. This day and age, my 1-year-old can operate this phone. As long as I unlock it, he can get in here and do all kinds of stuff. He knows how to swipe videos on YouTube and all kinds of stuff. He knows how to operate the remote control and turn on YouTube on TV too. So, and it's because you guys are growing up with these things. You're growing up with technology that we did not grow up with. So imagine as an entrepreneur, as a business owner for myself, I would love to have some 10 or 12-year-old create a TikTok page for me and manage it. So you all have skills that some of us don't, that answer problems that some of us older entrepreneurs have. So social media content creator, social media managers, party planning. This is a small list, you guys. I told you that I braided hair on the porch when I was growing up. Here's some other things that I've done. So I started braiding hair about 14 years old. At some point, I went to school to learn how to be a nail technician. I decided I didn't like that very much, but I did do nails for a little while. At one point in my life, I sold beauty products. And probably that was one of the things that really was an eye opener for me, was when I used to put together these baskets. It was a time when I was out of work for a while. And I put together these little baskets that had like perfume and lotion and stuff like that. And I would make a really pretty basket. I put some plastic on it. And on Valentine's Day, I would go in the barbershops and I would sell these baskets. And when I realized one day in the barbershop, I was in there maybe an hour and I walked out the door with $600. And then I understood the power of sell. When you learn how to sell something, when you learn how to package something up pretty and you can sell it, you will always have money in your pocket. And so that was powerful for me. I walked in the barbershop, walked out with $600 after about an hour. Another time in my life, when I was in between jobs, I was living with my mom for a little bit and I cleaned up her house real good. I took some pictures of her house after cleaning it up. And then I made some flyers and I went and put them in mailboxes all throughout the neighborhood, advertising that I would come clean people's houses for money. My business was called Green Aura Cleaning. And that was something that I did at one point in my life to make money. I've also been a real estate investor. I've owned multiple properties. I've been a landlord, credit repair expert, a financial coach, a financial consultant. Now my husband and I own an event venue on a 25-acre ranch. We're camping and glamping hosts. But all of the skills from way back when I was 14 years old, when I first started my first little business, all of those skills matter. All of those skills matter. So I started this off saying that if you can learn how to sell now, if you can learn how to sell things now, you will never go broke. There's somebody in the waiting room.
I got it.
You will never be without money. Just recently, somebody reached out to me and asked me if they could borrow $100. And I just thought that everybody should be able to get $100. Everybody should be able to get $100. There should be something that you can sell or do that if times got hard, which they do for everybody at some point in their lives, if times get hard, you should be able to go get $100 just like that with something, some way, whether that's selling things around your house, whether that's doing somebody's hair, doing trading services. There, you ought to have something that you do that you know how to do that could produce $100 like that. You should never have to borrow $100. Right. And this is why it's so important that we learn now how to to sell something. Right. And sales is one of those things that a lot of people don't like to do. People say, I'm not that good at sales. But if you're not that good at sales, how can you even get a job? Because when you get a job, you are selling yourself. When you go on an interview, you are selling you. Why would I buy? Can you tell me why would I buy you? So everybody should know how to sell, right?
Right.
Now, I got my title mixed up right here, but when you have a business, you want to think about how will the business that you have, how will it affect your school or sports schedule? How is it going to affect your social life? How will it affect your summer plans? How will it affect your wallets, right? How will your new business affect your life? Will you still be able to do the things that you want to do? I'll tell you that for me is even, it's even relevant right now because my husband and I own this big old farm. And when we go out of town, we got to have somebody to take care of the horses, the donkeys, the chickens, the ducks, the cats, the farm dog. Somebody's got to take care of all this stuff, right? And so a vacation for us costs a little bit more than a vacation because we got to find somebody to manage things around here while, you know, we go away. So you ought to be thinking about the type of business you own. How does it affect your life? Are you going to be okay with it? So now that you guys, hopefully you're coming up with some business ideas, we've been talking for quite a while now. Hopefully you got some things going through your brain that you might be, you might be willing to do. And now it's time to name your price. So if you're going to sell, let's say you're going to sell lip gloss, you have to think about what other people are charging for lip gloss. And not only what other people are charging for lip gloss, but are they, is their lip gloss comparable to your lip gloss? If you're selling an organic lip gloss that doesn't have, it's non-comedogenic, You know, it doesn't, you know, there's no animal cruelty. There's all these little fancy things that they use now to differentiate lip gloss. If you're going to compare your price of lip gloss to somebody else's, you have to think about making sure that you're comparing apples to apples, right? You want to think about the cost. What is it going to cost you to make lip gloss? What is it going to cost you? And I'm just using lip gloss for an example, but if somebody throws something out there, if they have a business, we can talk about their your particular business.
Well, I know someone has a wreath business.
A wreath making business?
Yes, she makes.
Oh, okay. All right. So beautiful. So where are you going to get your wreaths from? Are you buying wreaths in bulk? Are you buying them from Hobby Lobby? I personally have looked at wreaths, and wreaths can be very expensive. And the fancier they are, the more expensive they can be. So where are you getting your supplies from? And what are those supplies costing you? Are you buying wreaths from Hobby Lobby? Are you ordering them in bulk from some big wreath company where they just sell the little that little circular part? I don't know what it's called, the base wreath. You know, where are you getting them from? What does it cost? What type of things are you putting on your wreaths? What do all of those things cost? You have to write all of that stuff down. Write down all the costs of the supplies and things. And then you have to think about, what is it costing you in time? What is it costing you in time? Just recently, I've got sitting underneath me right now, I have a ton of vegetable seeds, right? My husband bought some vegetable seeds in bulk, a ridiculous amount of vegetable seeds in bulk. We had so many seeds that we just didn't, you know, we started selling them. Well, it was a total nightmare separating all these seeds and then taking all these orders, packaging them up, and then selling them for, we sold 20 packs of seeds for $10. What I learned from that was that selling use of my time. It was not a good use of my time. It was very time consuming. And then people complained that they didn't get all the seeds they wanted. I decided that I will never sell seeds again. It was not fun, right? And the cost of the seeds was not the problem. It was my time, what it cost me in time getting this together, right? And so when you take into consideration what you're going to, how you're going to price your item that you're going to sell, you definitely want to think about your time. I do also make jelly, right? And I'm going to give you a real life example. Give me 1 second. So I make jelly, right? This is my, I don't want to show y'all my jelly recipe. Y'all might try to make my jelly, but this is the jelly that I make. It's called Habanero Gold, right? So written inside my book, of course, the recipe has all the list of supplies right here, right? But then I have written out exactly what each item in my recipe costs. So apricots cost me $4.49, vinegar cost me $2.79, sugar $3.65, peppers $3.99, onions $1.69, habaneros $1.80, pectin which is what you use to make it gel is $4.87, and then the cost of the jar itself is $2.36. So I needed to price my when you add it all up, and that was to make 3 jars. That's what it cost me. So now, once I know the cost of my supplies, I broke that down by jar to determine how much I need to sell each jar for to make a profit. So when I broke it down by jar, it came down to about $4.74 per jar. So now that I know what each jar is costing me, now I can determine my price from there. And this is how you ensure that you're making a profit, that you actually have a business and not just a hobby, right? So $4.74 per jar. I sell my jars for $8. So I'm making about $3.25 profit per jar, right? And so that's how you want to break it down when you are deciding on the price of your item. Of course, everything is going to be different. And then what kind of supplies do you need? When I started making jelly, I needed a water bath canner. That cost me. I need a bunch of other canning supplies. Those cost me. So you want to think about the supplies and equipment. Two, we talked about your time. You want to look at your competitors. I shopped around a little bit for jelly to see what other people were charging for jelly too, that made some type of similar pepperish type of jelly. Looked at that. I was in the grocery store. I went to farmers market. So this is market research. So I'm going into other places and seeing exactly what other people are charging for jelly too. And what do their ingredients look like? What does their jar look like? How do they package their jelly? How does it taste? All of that, right? And then you want to think about, once you think about all those things, then what are your customers willing to pay for your jelly? Now, I'll tell you that the jelly that I made, I have people asking me all over the country, please send me your jelly. I got a text message as recently as yesterday. People are buying this jelly 4 to 6 jars at a time. And so I know my customers are willing to pay for my jelly, and they're also paying for shipping on top of that. So I know people are willing to pay for my jelly. And so customers is there is because you want to make sure that people are willing to pay for whatever it is that you are selling, right? Is there some questions to be answered in the chat box?
Well, a couple of people were saying they are enjoying the presentation.
Okay.
They're learning a lot. So
okay, awesome. So, and now depending on the type of business that you have, there may be some other factors to consider, about your jelly. I'm not about your jelly, but about whatever your business is. There may be some other factors to consider when it comes to naming your price. So now named your price. Now you want to start to build your business. What are you going to name it? You want to make sure that you're naming your business something that's meaningful, something that's catchy, something that people will remember. That people will remember. You want to think about something that is, it could be Cheyenne's habanero gold. Like, what do you name your business so that people actually remember it, right? So your name is very important. It's something that you want to take some time and put some consideration and some thought into it. And it could be something very simple because people will remember something simple, but you just want it to be something that is meaningful to you and something that will last. Then you want to think about a logo. What do you want? What is your brand going to look like? People spend a lot of money on logos, but when you think about companies like Nike or Amazon, their logos are so simple. Nike is just a simple little swoosh. Amazon is just a little smile. So don't go crazy with a logo. You want to think about something very, very simple. People do put some elaborate stuff into logos, and it's not really necessary. You want something simple. Think about the big companies. Think about Yahoo's logo. All the major companies, all those names that everybody knows. Their logos are so incredibly simple. And if you think about the names, what is an Amazon? What is a Nike? What is a Yahoo? What is a Google? These are all just simple names, but they're all household names that we now all know, right? And so you don't want anything too long. And then you want to start to get the word out. How will you get the word out about your business? Now, I'll tell you that if it were me and I was starting a business, you are a walking advertisement. Y'all see what I'm advertising right here? And I wore this shirt on purpose because I want you to realize that every day as you walk around, you are advertising somebody's business every day with the clothes that you put on. They make sure of it because they put it big on your shirt or on your pants or on your sneakers or in your car. They make it big. So you are a walking advertisement. Why not be advertising your own business? So if you're going to start a business, take the extra step to get you some t-shirts so that you can, when you're walking around advertising, you're advertising your own business, not somebody else's. So think about how you're going to get the word out about your business. Are you going to hand out flyers? I told you when I had that cleaning business, I took pictures and I made a flyer and I put them in people's mailboxes. Didn't cost me anything but time. I did all on a computer. Didn't cost me anything but time. How will you get the word out? Are you going to do social media? Are you going to do a market? Are you going to go to a flea market? Are you going to be a vendor at events? How are you going? There's many, many, many ways, even some that don't cost you any money at all, to get the word out about your business. How will you do that? You got to be thinking about how you're going to spread the word about your business. If you're a child, your family should be supporting your business. They should be telling people at work about your business. They should be telling people on their social media about their business, about your business. I have a lady that messages me everything her child does. I get a message. I don't even know what her child really sells, but I'm constantly getting messages in my messenger box on Facebook about this lady's child's business. And then you want to have an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is your 60 seconds. This is if you got 60 seconds to tell me about your business, what will you say? That's your elevator pitch. That is your elevator pitch. So if I had a dog walking business, my elevator pitch would be something like, hey, my name is Cheyenne and I help busy people like you walk your dogs once a day, every day. I love animals. They love me back. I serve the Villa Rica area. My prices are very reasonable. And will you allow me the privilege of walking your dog? You need to have an elevator pitch, something that you can say in 60 seconds to tell me about your business. Because a lot of times that's all you have. That is all you have. Is people's attention spans are short. My attention span is very short. And so you've got to be able to spit that thing out about your business and make it impactful as quickly as possible. Right? So have your elevator pitch. Once you have built your business, you know what your name is, you got a little logo. How will you tell people about your business quickly? Business cards, flyers, social media. You want to be building a brand. What does that mean? What does it mean to build a brand? What does that mean? Your brand is really your reputation. It's really your reputation. And once you have a business, every single interaction that you have with people, you are either building your brand or tearing it down. With every single interaction that you have with people, you're either building your brand up or you're tearing it down. Right? So I want you to think about some brands. I did a video outside of Chick-fil-A and put it on my social media. And Chick-fil-A is extremely well branded. What do they always say when you go to Chick-fil-A? Once they've taken your order, you're about to pull off, what do they say?
It is my pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm gonna tell you that I lived in Arizona, and in Arizona at Chick-fil-A, they say my pleasure. In Georgia at Chick-fil-A, they say my pleasure. So we all recognize them by that. Now, some of us, you hear it, but you don't really understand what they're doing there. What they are doing is solidifying excellent customer service with you. And now, if I go to Chick-fil-A, a new Chick-fil-A just opened up, and we went there the other day, and the people didn't say my pleasure. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these Chick-fil-A workers? Right? Because I'm so accustomed to it. For me personally, not that Chick-fil-A's chicken is the best. I just like Chick-fil-A because of the excellent customer service. And it's just those 3 little words. It's my pleasure. That's it. There's another place, the gas station, Quick Trip. In Arizona at Quick Trip, when you walk in the door to that gas station, every single day they greet you. And when you get ready to leave, they say, I'll see you next time. So they are embedding in your brain, that you're coming back to Quick Trip. Now, I have not seen that so much here in Georgia, but in Arizona, Quick Trip is a really big deal. And it's all because of I'll see you next time. They are embedding in your brain to come back and shop with them again. How will you make sure that people remember your business? How will you make sure that people remember your business? How will you brand yourself? Do you have a phrase that you're going to say every time? Will you leave little thank you cards? What will you do to make sure that people remember your business like remember Chick-fil-A and like we remember Quick Trip. What will you do to brand yourself? Vitally important to your business. What will people say when they talk about you and your business? Keep in mind, like I said, that every time you interact with people, you're either building your business or you're tearing it down. What will people say about your business? And that ties right into how to win with customers.
Give me 1 second. Okay.
So as a business owner, you have to understand that people matter. People matter. With our business here on the farm, my husband greets 100% of people all the time. He greets them. He shares our story. People all across the country, they remember our story. And that's because we make sure that people matter. We don't just give you the keys to our little grouping house, our Airbnb spot. My husband greets everybody, welcomes them to the ranch. He shares our story. He learns about them, learns where they came from, why they're here, why they needed to come here. He learns what they do for work. He learns about their families. A lot of times he will call them his cousins, and a lot of times they will call him their cousin. So he makes everybody feel like family when they come here. So in order to win with your customers, you always have to be putting the customer first. People really matter. Money only comes from one place, and that's from people, right? And then you're in business to make money, and amongst other things. So people have got to matter when it comes to your business. You have to follow through on those things that you say that you're going to do in your business in order to continue to build your brand. Remember, everything that you do, every interaction, you're either building your brand or tearing it down. So you've got to follow through on the things that you say that you're going to do. Doesn't matter what kind of business that you have, there will always be conflict. There will always be some type of conflict. I recently had a credit repair customer, and I utilize a service to provide dispute letters for my customers. And the service is taking too long to follow up with the customer. And so I refunded 100% of his money and still provided the service because it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And there's been many times over the years that I've actually given people their money back if things didn't go the way they were supposed to go. You want to make things right with people. There will always be conflict. You must face it head on. You're going to have to deal with conflict. And especially as a youth starting a business, it's good to learn how to handle conflict now. No matter what a customer says or does, you always want to be erring on the side of right, meaning you always want to be speaking to people, even when you have to say tough things. We have had some customers here because when you have your own business, you choose who you want to work with and who you don't. So there'll be some customers that you're going to say, no, thank you, I don't want your money. But it's still saying it in a way that's respectful, right? We hear one of the things that we do is horse boarding, and we turned away some customers to say, no, thank you, we don't want your business because of the type of attitude and energy someone, a person brought to the property. We don't want that. So we have the right to refuse those people, but you still want to do it in a way that's respectful. Right? And when you are keeping in mind that people matter, you're following through, you're dealing with conflicts, you're making things right, you will earn referrals. Other people will tell other people about you. Ghazi and I have not spent any marketing dollars when it comes to our ranch at all. We've not spent a single penny on marketing. All our is work, and we stay busy because we earn referrals. We earn people's trust. We earn their respect. We build a relationship. And because of that, they tell other people about our business. And so you do that when you do good business with people. And then you want to stay in touch with people. I will tell you that the majority of business comes from the same customers. So say you sell vegetables. Everybody loves your tomatoes. Well, the same person that buys your tomatoes is probably going to buy your peppers, going to buy your jelly. if you treat them right. And so you want to make sure that you're staying in touch with your customers. You got to say you started selling lip gloss. Now you moved on to foundation. How do you let your customers, that your lip gloss customer, know that you're now selling foundation too? Right? So you got to stay in touch with people. You got to have some type of email campaign. You've got to have a text message campaign, some way that you stay in touch with your customers to let them know what it is that you're doing. All right, so now we're on to getting organized. Your business off and running. You're taking good care of customers. Now you want to get organized. So when it comes to being organized, you've got to track your time. How much time do you actually want to spend in your business? So with one of my businesses, my work hours, I homeschool during the day. My work starts at 2 p.m. every day. And I will take calls for that particular business between 2 and about 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's all the time that I'm in that business. So I have I've got a calendar app on my phone, and using that calendar app, I make it so that people cannot schedule appointments outside of those hours. You can only schedule an appointment with me for this business between 2 and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Right? And so I'm able to track my time, the time that I spent in that business, and I'm able to manage it. I'm able to manage my time in that business because I have other businesses that need my time too. And when you're tracking your time, you will avoid double booking yourself. You don't want to book yourself to be dog walking during your school time, or you don't want to book, 2 different dogs on 2 separate parts of town at the same time. And you do that by maintaining a calendar. The next thing about getting organized is keeping money in its place. You never want to put, money is important. We all need it. It ranks right up there next to oxygen, but you don't want to put money over people. You don't want to put money over people. So for me personally, my time with my family is vitally important. And my time with my family is more important than money. So there are times where I don't want to work. I may take a week off to just spend time with my family, because money has its place and it's important, but I don't want to be so busy trying to make money that I'm not spending quality time with my family. So you've got to make sure you always keep money in its place. It's God first, then family, then money. All right. And then keeping a to-do list. Again, this little thing right here, I've got this little app on my phone, the reminders app. My reminders app is just full of things. I keep a running to-do list all the time. And if you're using this reminders app on your phone, you can really prioritize. So I probably have on one list, I've got 53 things that I need to do at some point, and they're all prioritized. Those things that I need to do urgently, you'll see that they're in red, or there's some type of date or time on them, right? If it's something that I need to do urgently. So this reminders app is free in your phone. You want to use this to make your to-do list. And in this little reminders app, you can categorize. So I have things I need to do for my family, and then I have things I need to do for the business. I've got Ghazi Jr. in here. I've got horse boarding things to do. I've got farm things to do. I got 6 most important things is a list I always keep. I've got things that I need to do for our nonprofit organization. I've got things I need to do for a big event that we have coming up in October. I've got Kayaneh things to do. And then I'm working a course as well. So I've got several lists of things to do. So if I need to know what little Ghazi needs, or say little Ghazi has an appointment or he has something coming up, I go into my Ghazi Jr. list and I put in whatever it is that I need to do for Ghazi Jr., right? And so keep a to-do list always. You always want to have a running list of things to do. And if you get into this habit now, you will be a really efficient adult. And so vitally important. And then you want to avoid procrastination. I am really, really big on not wasting. I hate wait. I'd rather somebody waste my money than waste my time. I really hate to waste time. It drives me insane. And some things that we don't think about as time wasting. If I have to go to the store, if I need to go to the store, first of all, if I can get it on Amazon and Amazon could send it to me without me having to go to the store, I would rather do that, because getting in the car driving it can be a time waster if it's something I can simply get off of Amazon. I don't like to sit around watching. It's very rare that I could just sit down and just watch TV. I just don't. For me, I grew up believing that the TV is an idiot box. That's what I learned that it was an idiot box. So I don't want to be an idiot. So I don't sit around watching a lot of TV. It's just a huge time waster for me. When I do sit down and watch TV, it is usually family time. We're sitting down and watching a movie together as a family. Then it is quality time with my family. We're enjoying something together, as opposed to me just sitting around watching the box. So you have to think about what that looks for you. I'm not saying you're an idiot if you watch TV, or I'm not calling anybody's parents idiots if they like to watch TV. It's just not something that I like to do. And when you study successful people, there's a saying that goes that successful people have bigger libraries than they do televisions. And so that's just a rule of thumb that I've always lived by, is I just don't watch a lot of TV. Now, if you don't have anything to do, watch all the TV that you want to watch. But if you got some goals that you're working on in your life, get out from in front of that TV. And then you want to avoid procrastination. We all have, we're all natural procrastinators. We want to put off the things that are hard until later. But there's a book called Eat That Frog. And with Eat That Frog, I learned to do the thing that I want to do the least, to do that at the front, to do that in the beginning of the day. That thing that you want to do the least, that thing about your business that's pressing you the hardest, that you just got to do this to get your business off the ground, do that thing first. Then it's out of the way. It makes everything else seem easy. Right? We're on to, you're in business, you're rolling, you're making some money with your business. Now you want to learn how to make the most of your money. Now, I don't know what all this fun stuff is. I see all kinds of arrows and stuff on the screen. I don't know what that is. Hopefully y'all can still see the screen. Is that me doing that, or is that somebody else? I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But I can still see. So, all right. So say I have a dog walking business. You always want to be looking at your income. You want to get in the habit now as a youth. Get in the habit now of keeping documentation. Number one, it's the law. If you have a business, you're supposed to be writing everything down. You're supposed to be writing down all the money that you make. Doesn't matter how small your business is or how small you think your business is. It's good to get into these habits now. So say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 4 dog walking customers. Rob pays me $60. Jasmine pays me $40. Keisha pays me $75. Jerry pays me $25 a month for me to walk their dogs. That's $200 in monthly income. Now, oh no, I'm sorry, not dog walking. We're going to go with cutting grass. I cut these people's grass, right? What do my expenses look like? If you're going to cut grass, what do your expenses look like? You're going to have to pay for gas if you're cutting grass. You might need some trimmer string for the weed eater. You might need some gloves so you don't get your hands all callous. You might need a gas can. So your expenses are $24 per month. So what does that make your profit? Well, your profit is your income minus your expenses. And this is going to vary from business. This is a very simple example, but your income and expenses is going to vary based on your own business. So your total profit is going to be $176. So what do you need to do with that money? Now, here's something people don't like to talk about when they have a business, but you have to pay taxes. And a lot of business owners, what they do is they wait until it's tax time to pay taxes. But the wise thing to do is that when you have a business, you want to make a habit of always putting away 15% for taxes. You always want to just get in the habit of putting away 15% to pay taxes, because if you have a business if you own a business, you have to pay taxes. right? And then the next thing is that you want to reinvest. You're going to have to buy more gas. You're going to have to buy more trimmer string. Eventually, you may need another lawnmower. So how much money will you put away to reinvest in your business? It's always wiser to do that on the front end. So if you get $100, you want to put money away for taxes and money away to reinvest right away. Most people, when they get it, we have a business, they make the money and then they spend it on whatever they want to spend it on, right? And this is the reason why many businesses don't succeed, because people are not reinvesting back into their business, right? And so you want to keep 15% for taxes. You want to reinvest, and you decide what that percentage looks like based on your business, how much you need to reinvest. Then, of course, you want to have some money to spend. You want to have some fun with the money that you're making with your business, right? But you want to be wise with that. So you don't want to spend it all, but you do want to decide on what percentage you're going to be able to spend. And then you want to save some, and you may be saving for, maybe you got a push lawnmower right now, and eventually you want to buy a zero turn. You want to spend a couple $1,000s on a zero turn lawnmower so that you can cut more grass and get more customers, right? And you can cut a lot faster when you got a riding lawnmower, right? So that may look different depending on, whatever type of business. So you always want to have something set aside for saving. And then you want to make sure that you have your money saved in a business bank account. You want to start off right. And if you have a business, you should have a business bank account. And then from your business, do you want to give? I think my son is writing me a message. So you want to be able to give too. And a lot of people, their giving is 10%. All right. And then what is the next step? And this is really the last thing to talk about. When you own a business, you want to always be studying what's working, what's not working. How do you want to grow in the future? Do you want to stop? I told you that this little thing right here, selling seeds, this was not my thing. So this was something that we stopped doing. It wasn't a good use of my time. It was a big headache for me. So that's one business that we stopped, right? Do you want to change? Maybe it was an idea for me to charge more for the seeds, right? Because these little packs of seeds are really, this one right here is $1.96 per pack. Well, we were selling it for about 25 cents or 50 cents per pack. So if I charge what they actually should be charging on here, maybe I could hire somebody else to sort seeds, and maybe then it would have been a good use of my time. You got to be studying your business. How will you change? We started off renting out our glamping house for $30 a night. Now it's $109 per night. We upgraded the space. We put a refrigerator in there and all kinds of fun stuff in there. We added a shower. So now people who stay there can go and take a shower. And so we changed over time. And as we changed, we knew we were providing more value. And so we had to go up on price all the way from $30 to $109 in a year. How will you change? How will your business change? If you own a business right now and the holiday is coming, people spend a lot of money during the holidays. What will you do during the holiday? What's your plan to make money on the holidays? Right? And sometimes you have to pivot, because if you're thinking about you have a business cutting grass, you got a business cutting grass, as it starts to get cold, people are not going to need their grass cut. How will you still make money? How will you pivot your business? Will you then shovel snow? Will you scoop, pick up people's leaves? What will you do? How will you pivot your business? So you've always got to be studying your business, learning, what's working, what's not working, how you need to change, how you want to grow in the future. Maybe you want a whole fleet of lawnmowers and to hire a whole staff. How do you want to grow in the future? So those are some things to think about. Once your business is in place, how will you start to grow it? So that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Questions going once? You have any? Going twice? Going 3 times. So I guess they don't have any questions. Miss Cheyenne, Mr. Ghazi Jr., Kayaneh, you all enjoy your vacation. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Yes.
Very informative. I think everyone, I think this is my sister-in-law said, great presentation. I've learned a couple of things that I need to pivot on as far as Slick is concerned. My sister told me to inform you she's going to make a wreath for your door for the center. So just like that's coming.
Thank you.
And you want to tell everyone about your farm and what all y'all do?
Oh yeah, so we have a 25-acre farm here in Villa Rica. And I'll tell you, my husband is better at telling this story, but we had a little girl in 2019, right? We all have to learn how to, when things happen in life, how to turn them into something good. So we had a little girl, pregnant with a little girl, highly anticipated, love this little girl. And at 6 months, I lost her. She was born still. And it was one of the hardest things I ever endured in my life, because we were really looking forward to that little girl. And when she passed, we decided to take that energy and shift it into something good. So our entire ranch is named after her. This is her little ashes here. It's Kayaneh. So our ranch is called Kayaneh Sunset Ranch here in Villa Rica. And everything that we do here is in memory of her. So our whole goal with all the businesses that we have on the ranch is to bring people a sense of peace and restoration. So people are able to come here. We have horse boarders. We have an event venue where there's weddings. We have reunions. We have meetings, all kinds of things inside of the event venue. We have a 2-acre pond where people have luxury picnics, retreats out there. We have boats on the pond, so people are able to take a boat ride. We've got what we call glamping house. We have a lot of tent campers and people who come quote unquote glamping, that's glamour glamping, stay in our little glam house. They just come out here to relax. But the property itself is crystals all around the land. So there's just a naturally healing energy here. Aside from what we try to bring to it too, people just come out here and relax, tree bathe. You can see this place is called Sunset Ranch because the way the sun sets like right at the entrance of the property. It's just amazing the way that works. And so that's why it's called Sunset Ranch. And so I think I named a lot of what we do. We do tours, we do farm tours. We've got animals, cows, chickens, not cows. We don't have cows anymore. We have donkeys, horses, chickens. We've got ducks. I think that was pretty much it. And yeah, our website is www.sunsetranch.farm. And we are on Facebook and Instagram at Kayaneh Sunset Ranch. Kayaneh is Kayanehs, Sunset Ranch.
Okay, y'all check out their pictures for their luxury picnics and weddings and honeymoon, because at their gazebo, it's not only on the pond, but they do have a fireplace.
Yes.
That was the kicker for me. That's one of my favorite things. So again, thank you all. Thank you. You'll get your shirt after you all come back. And thank you for putting that in the chat as well. So if no one has any other questions, I have a couple of chats. Jasmine said, thank you, amazing information. Lisa said, phenomenal presentation and such a wealth of knowledge shared for our young people to succeed in their own business. Thank you. And those were the only other comments. So if there's nothing else, again, this is Speak Life to Youth and Children, SLYC International, SLYC International. You can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter.
TikTok,
yeah, that's new. I'm still trying to get used to that. TikTok. If you'd like to donate, you can do so through our website, www.slickinternational.com, as well as Cash App, which is the $, capital S, small p, EAK, the number 4, capital S, capital L, capital Y, capital C. So for us to continue doing what we're doing, we need funds. So please share the knowledge. This video will be on YouTube shortly, and I will send out the link for that presentation as well as post it on Facebook. If nothing else, you all have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy the weather as it is getting cooler up here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.